In this video, we're talking about content ecosystems versus traditional funnels, which actually works in 2025 and which makes the most sense for you. And so I'll be cracking down every single thing about both of these different approaches by the end of this video, giving you that clarity that you need to either revamp your marketing completely or continue with your approach now, depending on what you're doing. So let's just hop straight into it. Starting off with the dilemma, we have two approaches, right? Direct response funnels versus content ecosystems. And so both are aiming for the same goal, obviously, more clients, more revenue, right? The question is, which matches your business philosophy, which, correlates with your goals and what you want to do. So to break down both of them now, when it comes to traditional funnels, the structure is usually, your top of funnel being paid ads and outreach, your middle being a VSL or webinar, and your bottom of funnel being that sales call. So the problems with traditional funnels in the first place is clearly a big one here is the one-shot opportunity, right? You have one swing at home base, you have one opportunity, right? One ad, one message to really get this across and get in front of your prospects. And a lot of people, their answer is going to be no, right? But not because they're completely not interested. In some cases, yes, but also because they're just probably not ready, right? They're not ready for that yet. They just met you. They're not ready to give you, their card information and, wire you $5,000. And so another issue is high prospect leakage, which is just a byproduct of this other issue, is that you're leaking a lot of prospects that could be ready later down the road, but they're not ready yet. And you're just kind of leaking all of them out of your pipeline. Next one is market sophistication issues. People are getting smarter. People's trust is going lower, and overall diminishing returns over time based on everything I just talked about. Now, when it comes to content ecosystems, this might be a newer term for you, something you might not have heard about. So to break down kind of the structure and what this looks like, with a content ecosystem, you have multiple entry points, right? All the different mediums of media, of content, right? Instagram, short form, Instagram story posts, you have YouTube long form, YouTube shorts, TikTok, all these different mediums and entry points where people can find out about you and get hit with reoccurring content multiple times. You have value-based content hubs, so you share value. You have no limit to how much content you can put out because it's organic, right? It's free. And also various conversion opportunities. So, with that being said, there's a lot of different formats of content. There's a lot of different places where you can be, adding in your CTA, where you can be converting these leads that are in different stages in your pipeline. And so that's kind of a general overview of what, how a content ecosystem works and how it, looks in the first place, how it operates. And now when it comes to the advantages of this, they're pretty obvious based on what I just said, but, you have pre-sold prospects going through and nurturing a lot of your content, getting to know you and kind of just selling themselves into your offer and your mechanism. Overall, obviously, when you do this the right way, higher conversion rates, more sustainable growth, and defensible market position, right? An evergreen personal brand that's going to be around forever. And, you're just stacking that leverage as you grow your personal brand higher. And so a metaphor here to tie in kind of the comparison between these two different approaches that you can have is number one, with the traditional funnel being kind of think of like a leaky bucket. Right? This is constantly pouring in new leads and, significant leakage at every level of it. With content ecosystem, you can think of this as more as a membership club, right? This is people wanting to join and stay, to follow you, to see all your new posts, and natural progression to buying. Not just I just saw your ad and now I'm on a sales call, 3 hours later, and I'm just going to try this out. It's like they've known you for 2 months. They know about the, the way you talk, your offer. They even know about your clients and their results, and they want to join that club, right? They want to be with those clients that are getting results because they've seen you showcase and broadcast this all over your socials. And so another big part of the content ecosystem is YouTube, right? And so of course, content ecosystem works the best way when you are hitting all mediums, when content's going out across all platforms, all formats, short form, long form, story posts, all that. But YouTube is a big superpower here. And so to touch on like what that exactly means, like what the YouTube advantage is that number one, it's a discovery engine, right? It's the second largest search engine in the world. And anyone can post content here, right? So it's not something where you don't have access to it. Second point here is that it's a trust building mechanism. And so with long form content, people are deciding to spend a lot more time with you, right? 10 to 15 minutes, just like this video right here, right? Going to be like a 5 to 10 minute video. And so people are spending a lot more time with you. They're building that trust. They're really getting to know you. And it's also a conversion tool, just like every other piece of content, right? You have your description at the bottom, CTAs, links, community, all that good stuff. And now we've talked a lot about, the traditional funnel. We've talked about the content ecosystem, and it kind of might seem like I'm saying you have to do one or the other. But honestly, in my opinion and what I've seen, the best approach is really a mix of both. It's a hybrid approach, right? It's getting the benefits from both, because there are benefits from both. Obviously, with a traditional funnel, if you're just running that funnel, you could run into some issues. It could, not be profitable. But when you mix the both, it works super, super well, right? They both complement each other. And so the way this looks doing both is that your content ecosystem becomes your foundation, your direct response elements for acceleration, right? It's, running the paid ads. It's getting, paying for 20,000 views on a, high converting ad creative. It's just really accelerating the process. It's retargeting only your followers, only the warmest leads, to move them from being, problem aware and solution aware to most aware, right? And just going straight to booking that call. And so when it comes to like choosing what the right one for you is, obviously the right one is both, right? It's accelerating the process, nurturing the most, closing the most, running both funnels at the same time, and just mashing this into being one funnel that, just has the biggest return. But if I had to tell you which one is right for you, you should choose the traditional funnel if you need that immediate cash flow and you're short term in the market, right? You're just in the market. You're just new to the market. You're looking for immediate cash flow, immediate eyeballs, immediate calls booked. Obviously, this is going to be the best way to do it, because content ecosystem, building a personal brand, is more of a long-term game, right? And there's no guarantee that your first post is going to, blow up and reach, 5,000 people that are your ICP. And now content ecosystem, if you're, this is the best for you if you are building for long term, if you value genuine relationships and high quality clients, and if you want sustainable growth. So the next steps from here to leave you with even more value. And so the next steps from here to leave you with some more value, if you're, like running a traditional funnel, or you're kind of dipping your toes in the content ecosystem side of things, or you're just getting started and you're kind of just choosing, how do I market my stuff? The next steps that are the most valuable would be to, number one, get on YouTube, right? Start building that foundation, laying the groundwork for where people are going to spend the most time with you. That means creating valuable long form content. But then also from here, to be omnipresent, to be everywhere, and to also get the most eyeballs and traffic directed to these different locations. Direct traffic with short form. And so start building on short form, right? Build out a short form content strategy. This means Instagram. This means YouTube Shorts. This means TikTok as well. Right, so that's going to be where you get the most eyeballs, right? There's the most people just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. And there's the biggest opportunity to capitalize on all that attention on those platforms, on the short form format side of things. And from there, you're taking people and directing them to the long form. That's the very simple rule of thumb with running a social funnel, with, starting to lay that foundation of this content ecosystem that you're building. And if you're running a traditional funnel right now, you can totally, keep doing that, keep, booking those calls, keep all that going, but you can do this at the same time, right? Well, it shouldn't take a lot of extra time off your hands. It shouldn't cost a lot of money, especially if you can find the right team that can manage it all for you and understands your messaging, understands your goals, and can get you there. But what I'll leave you with is this: stop chasing quick wins that don't last, and start building a business that compounds over time. And so if you are a coach, consultant, or info product seller, and you want to see if a system like this would make sense in your business, how exactly a team like mine could implement it, or you just simply want a roadmap on, scaling from where you are now to where you want to be in the next 3 to 6 months, I'll leave a link below where you can book a call to speak directly with me one-on-one, and we can run through everything like that. But that wraps it up for this video. Thanks for watching. Hope it was valuable. Catch you in the next one. Peace.